Hello viewers, welcome back to another video of Python tutorial from my channel. Um, we all saw the function and it was really fun knowing about it. Today I'll tell you about recursion. So basically the functions that we saw till yet, we used to return them once. But can we run a function inside a function? If you use your common sense, the answer is yes. For example, I make a function for average and I want to use the function of it, so I definitely can do that. There is no confusion in that. But can I call a function inside the same function? Yes, through recursion we can do that. For example, I make a function to call it. Then we will think that we make a function to call itself, then why are we calling the same function inside it? Let me explain for you. I'll tell you where and in which scenarios this is used. For example, suppose I'll talk about the factorial. I'll say factorial of 7. So if you have studied or practiced math somewhat, you can understand this very easily. For example, factorial 7, it actually means 7 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiply 3 multiply 2 and multiply 1. This is the factorial of 7. Now let's see the factorial of 6. This is also having the same process, but here is a 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, and like this factorial of 5 also. We say 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, and same like this. This is 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let me make it 4 and delete this. Make it 3 and delete. Make it 2 and delete, and 1 and delete. Okay. A factorial of 0 is 1 by definition. This is a rule. Okay. Now if you see, factorial of 7 is 7 multiplied by 6, then multiplied by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 6 is also same like this. The process goes on. So by this information, if I need the factorial for any number, first I'll find the factorial of number minus 1 and then multiply it by n. For example, okay, let me write down this factorial of n is simply equals to n multiply by factorial of n minus 1. How? Suppose n is 7, factorial of 7 is equals to n 7 multiplied by factorial of n minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay, if I highlight this is actually same the factorial of 6. So I can say that the factorial of 7, see, factorial of 7 is equals to 7n multiplied by factorial of n minus 1. This is the factorial of n minus 1. 7 minus 1 means 6. Okay, this is exactly the 6 factorial here multiplied by 7. So the answer is totally correct. I can use this formula for factorial, and through this I'll explain for you the concept of recursion, that how we can use or call a function in itself. So let's write it down in the form of a Python program to understand this better. Okay, I'll comment this. Oops. Okay. Now let's write down a example. For example, I say define a factorial of n if okay, we are having a condition if n is equals to 0 or n is equals to 1. Now what does this condition means? If n is 0 or 1, return 1. How? As I said before, factorial of 1 is exactly 1 and factorial of 0 is by definition it is 1. So if we want to find the factorial of 0, also the answer is 1, and if you want to find the factorial of 1, also the answer is 1. So because of that, we will say that if the n is 0 or 1, we will return 1. So this was about the first part of if. Then we'll say if our n is not 0 or not 1, we'll say else return n multiply by factorial of n minus 1. Okay, now I'll explain this for you. Then print factorial of 3 same like this, factorial of 4 also, 5 also. Okay, make it 4 and I'll make it 5. Okay, so here what I've done, let me explain for you this for loop that we've used here. Here I said that define a factorial. Okay, we will define a factorial n, and we say that if n is 0, return 1, or if n is 1, return 1. In these two conditions we will return 1. The answer will be 1. But if the n is not 0 or 1, we will perform this action. What is this? This is n multiplied by factorial n minus 1. For example, here I want to for example, factorial this n is 7. Okay, I'll say factorial of 7. Here what it means? It means to find the factorial of 7 we need to find the factorial of 6 also, n minus 1. So we say 7 multiplied by factorial of 6. This is the same. Okay, now to find the factorial of 6 we will say that factorial of 6 is actually, it means 6 multiplied by factorial of 5, because 6 is the, if n is 6 so n minus 1 will be 5, so because of that we need to find factorial of 5. So for finding the factorial of 5 we have to find the factorial of 4. Like this we will go till 0 or 1. Factorial of 5 actually means 5 multiplied by factorial of 4, and like that, like this. To find the factorial of 4 we need to find factorial of 3 also. Now factorial of 4 equals to 4 multiplied by factorial of 3, because 4 is, our n is 4 and n minus 1 will be 3, and like that we will find factorial of 3, and factorial of 3 is actually 3 multiplied by factorial of 2, and like that the next factorial of 2 is also, we are remaining very less. 2 multiplied by factorial of 1. So now if you see, first we will find the factorial of 1. Okay, this factorial of 1 is actually 1. Factorial 1 is 1 itself. Okay, now to find this you can see that first factorial of 1, then factorial of 1 is used in factorial of 2 to multiply that, and then factorial of 3, and so on. So like this we have used the same function, we have called the same function in itself. The function is same but the argument is just different. This is n here and this is n minus 1, so the argument is just changed here but the function is same. So like this is also this is all about the recursion. This recursion is used in this way in Python. So I hope you guys have understood the concept of recursion somehow. Till the next video, Allah Hafiz.